You know, when we started, we had a vision, of course, of what we wanted to accomplish in our community, and we understood how important what we wanted to do could potentially be. And I would say that probably the first 2, 3, maybe even 4 years, we were running a lot on faith. So now that we have a little age and we can look in the back and look back in the rearview mirror a little bit, we actually get to see kind of the before and after of where people started and where they find themselves now. Being around now for going on finishing 10 years, we actually have some real life people that we have been able to see move through a spectrum of not doing very well to doing much, much better, and going on to do what I think are really remarkable and important things in their own lives.
I was in a state of confusion and anger and hope, wishing that something was out there, to help me. And when I found Red Willow, she's been a comfort to me and a teaching tool all these years, to where I really feel like I can help people.
Remembering where I was at, I had come through a lot and was feeling like I was just starting to get some momentum. The periods of being depressed were shorter, and I've just learned a lot about that and what kind of the triggers were and the process, and things picked up, and I just continued to get better and just more healthy, stronger, engaging with more things. I ended up working again after a long time of not working.
Red Willow has given me, not just the skills and the knowledge of how to handle these stressful things in my life that normally would derail me. It's also giving me the internal support to know that I can do it.
I think it's really remarkable, and it's really an honor to be able to say that I actually still see people that maybe started accessing programs with us 10 years ago, that they're still around, which I think is great. So that says something to me that we must be doing something right. And I think the biggest thing that I see, and this is what I as a leader in the organization, what I think is the highest compliment is the fact that these people bring other people. And it's pretty great, because then that person now gets to become the mentor, it gets to become the person who they find themselves in a position where they recognize for themselves, not just what other people have told them about, hey, you're doing so much better with this and this and these parts in their lives, but it's now that they can self-reflect and say, wow, 5 years ago or 6 years ago or whatever, I was this, and now here I am.
Yeah, trying to reflect on how things have changed and grown over the past year. It's kind of interesting task, because part of me wants to say, nothing's changed, but a lot of things have changed. Last year, I was just starting to recognize how much help I've had through Red Willow. I had gotten to that point in my healing where I'd just gotten out of the pit and was looking around and seeing, and so very, very grateful for everything that Red Willow does.
That was a hard time. I was struggling emotionally. It was kind of lifted. I mean, it's not that it was all dissipated, all the anger and the pain, but at least I knew what it was. It wasn't just these random feelings overpowering me in the day and taking me on their journey, It was me acknowledging that, wow, I really did go through something.
Definitely have drawn on a lot of the things I've done here, particularly things like yoga and Tai Chi, Qigong, meditation. There's something that I can tap into and use.
So what I see is this change that happens because they feel more solid to themselves. So what we see in their lives is just what they report in terms of they're doing better at their jobs, they're better parents to their kids, they're better partners to their, to their loved ones.
I think what's grown in me most is a deeper sense, a fuller sense of who I am without the trauma, like filters. Yeah.
I couldn't tell you where I was physically. I was so disconnected. But over these years, I've been able to slowly see how able I am and that I have so much more to give.
Giving back and service is too part of the healing journey, because in some ways I feel like I am that example of somebody that didn't have access, didn't think she had access, and so never even looked for it. I can definitely say Red Willow has saved my life, and I have no shyness about that. That's a fact. Without Red Willow, we'd be having a totally different conversation right now.
I think it's so interesting when people start to realize that, and I think this falls under the category perhaps of paying it forward a little bit. I don't exactly know what category this fits in, but this idea, that again, when we find something that is so helpful to us and moves us along our path and moves us along in our journey in a way that is helpful, that we want to share that with other people, and one of the ways that we can do that, of course, is to bring our friends to experience these things with us.
Red Willow is doing very real work and is saving more lives than they know, and that's why it's critical Red Willow continue, and it's critical for me to be a part of that service, to ensure that when you're giving your life back, what are you going to do with it? I'm going to make sure that other people don't have to suffer what I've suffered.
I think paying it forward, that concept, is the only way to live. I have gotten so much care and comfort through Red Willow that it's not only like I take that and I walk, out the doors and I'm good. It's like I take that and I can't help but want to give that. Paying it forward is something that I think you learn how to do, and you teach it through actions, just doing it.
Bills, medical bills, et cetera, that might be associated with an event of some kind. So many times it puts us into a difficult position in the community in terms of being able to access resources. So I think that having fee waivers and scholarships and things to actually help people when they find themselves in those vulnerable positions is really important. Without that kind of help, people they're kind of lost, they're kind of adrift. And I think that is how I see it is it's really kind of a waste of potential. And I really, really don't like wasting potential, especially human potential. And so the idea of us being able to, and I look at it as an investment. I look at it as an investment, not in this organization, but in our community. So it's really about, we all want to live in a community of people who are doing well.
In going forward, it feels like I'm at a point where I'm engaged with it, and even when I have, the downturns and disappointments, I'm just learning to just wait until the cycle comes around and I can pick it up again and try to move it forward a bit more.
Hope is the biggest seed that was planted in me through Red Willow. Now, when I look into the future, I just see me going forward.
There's hesitation, but there's also some kind of trust and faith and something inside that I feel like is with me, and it's no matter what happens, things will be okay.
Red Willow is a shining star out there. To not forget that there are people out there that do help. We live on word of mouth, and I promise you, everybody in the room has somebody they know that is struggling with trauma, and they don't have to be a combat veteran. I guarantee you that there's people in the room that are suffering from PTSD and need a place to go. I mean, this really, really is a safe place to come. I really do see red willow like a red willow spreading seeds downriver.
Make sure that, all of the pieces and parts to help these seeds grow are in place, and then you just have to let them be and let them do their thing. So it's really kind of a trust in that this seed knows what it's doing. I just need to be the person who makes sure that it gets water, that it gets everything it needs in order to express itself in the way that it's meant to.